Warning! Here we go. The following live broadcast may contain loud, obnoxious, shrill, and alarming noises that might be considered disturbing if not outright uncomfortable to listen to, especially if you are wearing headphones. I share my office space with an African gray parrot and two parakeets, and I have no control over their behavior while I am live streaming and making videos and anything else. So, you know, hey. Unlike my regular videos where I have the opportunity to edit them out as best as I can, but it just requires me to do 77 takes first of any dialogue that I'm making, but I digress. If you are sensitive to loud, surprising background noises, I recommend either not turning your volume up too loud or watching my edited, pre-recorded videos instead. Hello. Yeah, thank you. and oh, where am I? Where am I? That's my desk. Hold on. Oh, there we are. It's like, you know, it just goes to show you that no matter how many times I do this thing, it's like I'm learning this crap for the first time. It's like one day, but not today. So welcome, EGOMANIACS. Welcome everybody to another episode of whatever this is. So maybe I have to come up with a name for the live stream eventually. You know, that's something. Let's and we have comments already. Oh, thank you. Let's see. Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Yeah, I know, Nita. I know. Thank you. Mike Jimmy. Hello from the Netherlands. Hello. I hope you're still awake because I know I'm about to fall asleep now. I cannot handle this, you know, the sun going down so early right now. So I can't handle that. Yes. And Nita is saying her greetings to you too. And, oh, there we go. There. Oh, so it's pretty much a conversation between Nita and Mike Jimmy in the chat. So there we go. There we go. Oh, it's 10 p.m. and cappuccino is my best friend. Wow. So we're planning on staying up late today. So okay. So it's like so welcome everybody to, like I said, another episode of the live stream. So I guess let me get into my whatever, you know, into my intro. I'm trying out a couple of new things today. I'm trying out a couple of new things, so bear with me. I'm still trying to figure out this whole crossing streams with OBS. So we're trying a couple of things. So let me see. So there we go. Okay. So hi everybody, my name is Daphne Lage and I am a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. And now that I kind of think about it, you guys can hear me, right? Like I said, I'm trying out a couple of new things and, you know, I'm hoping that there isn't any conflicts with any of my equipment. But so far, everything seems to be okay with me, so... Oh, there we go. Yes, Mike Jimmy has work to do. Yes. Don't we all? Don't we all? So, okay. So, oh, good. Thank you. Thank you, my unofficial, my unofficial, testers there. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. So let me continue before I get too distracted again. So where was I? Oh, yes. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992. And I am known for the funny animal fantasy adventure Tall Tales, which we will be talking about more today because as you can see, I received the proof for volume 3 for the Kickstarter that's running right now. But like I said, we'll talk about that more in a minute. And I am also known for my medieval fantasy soap opera drama, because that's a mouthful. Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which I am just finishing up the last of the sketch covers for the issue 3 campaign. So yes. So you can read both of my comics online at talltalesonline.com. That's TAILS. And and also at egoworks.com, which the link is right there above my head. And if you are watching this on Facebook or Twitter, it's like you can also catch all my videos on how I make these comics on YouTube at Daphne Lage, Lage Art. And especially if you are watching on Facebook and Twitter, why don't you head on over to my YouTube channel and subscribe? We are currently on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And and it's like, and if you're enjoying my videos and my live streams, it's like, come share the love and press that red button on YouTube. Also, especially if you are on Twitter, if you want to join the chat, you can do that on YouTube. You can go ahead on YouTube, and because I don't think Twitter has the option to allow you to converse with the chat. So head on over to YouTube where all the cool kids are at, because already like I said, the chat is jumping right now. So, okay, so everyone's telling me the audio is great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, and as a comparison, I wasn't even in a concept in 92. Yes. Yeah, we tend to surprise people with the amount of time we've been doing this. So I think I kind of know what I'm talking about. So before we get started with I guess our today's thing. Just a couple of announcements. So right now, like I said, Tall Tales is currently Tall Tales Volume 3 for this book right here. It is currently on Kickstarter right now. We have, I think, as we're talking, we have 11 days left to go on the campaign. We're just shy of breaking the second trading card stretch goal, but there's one more after that. If we can reach 3,000, it unlocks all of the trading card stretch goals, so that you can add to your collection if you supported the last campaign. And if you missed out on the last campaign and you still want to pick up a pack of our Tall Tales trading cards right here, this is the first 9 that were available on the last campaign. You can pick them up as a add-on. And then you can, as we unlock stretch goals, you can add those cards to expand your collection. So we have 11 days left. Links in the show notes below. So check that out. Another thing, speaking of Kickstarters, because we are running we are famous for or infamous for that matter, for the never-ending Kickstarters. So Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, issue 4 is going to launch on Kickstarter on March 14th, 2022. So if you are interested in, or you missed the previous campaigns, you're just hearing about it now. Or you just missed it, because like I said, issue 3 ended a couple of weeks ago. You can sign up at egoworks.com to get notified when the campaign goes live. March 14th, 2022. So it'll be a campaign for issues 1 through 4. And also it's like, if you're a fan of variant covers, just so you know, this is going to be the very last campaign that's going to have variant covers or just the individual issues for issues 1 through 4, because once the volume 1 trade is released next year, I'm discontinuing all individual issues for 1 to 4, everything. So if you really want to pick up all the last variants and the individual issues, if you'd like to collect those, sign up so that you don't miss this campaign. Also for the holidays, but just in general, you head on over to my shop where I still have my fan art clearance going on. Also, you can pick up sketchbooks and a whole bunch of other things for up to 50% off. I'm clearing out a lot of backstock to make room for more things, for new things. So yeah, so if you've been meaning to pick up some stuff, some of my sketchbooks or whatnot, or some of my stickers or postcards, I have a couple of sketch covers left. You can still pick them up in my store for up to 50% off. We do have a convention coming up in January, WinterCon. That's a local show to us. My stickers do really, really well at these shows. And I'm discontinuing everything here. So if you want to pick up these fan art stickers, now's the time to do it, because once they sell out, I am not making any more of these. Same thing with the little buttons and whatnot. So I'm not making any more. So if you want to get ahead of WinterCon, I suggest you put in your orders this month so that you can actually get them, because like I said, some of these are already sold out. I think that Chibi Rocket is sold out, and there was one other sticker that also was sold out. So just so you know there. So yeah, so that's what's going on right now with that. So like I said, Tall Tales is now on Kickstarter. We have 11 days left to go. And like I said, I have the proof right here. I got it yesterday. So if you're unfamiliar with my campaigns and with the work that I do, and you're kind of wondering, you're kind of on the fence of supporting me, me and JD, because he wrote it. I just did the pictures, and so the books are ready to go. And honestly, this is probably the first proof I got back that I don't have to make any changes for. So it's like the second the campaign is over, I can literally press reorder on the website and get these books within a week. So they're ready to go. The books are done. They're ready to go. I'll do a quick flip through when I go test out the OBS to see if it works. So the books are ready. The books are ready. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, yeah. She sent me yes, Nita sent me a GIF that was that said, it had a t-shirt on it that said buy furry art, not cocaine. But you had to see it in the context of the entire picture. So it was obviously an altered picture, but that's our motto right now. Yes, that's exactly. Buy furry commissions, not cocaine. And it's really, and sometimes, but honestly though, the cocaine might be cheaper at the way some people collect furry commissions. So yeah, that was a really funny thing, So, okay. So one of the things that I've been doing is I'm constantly trying to figure out how to improve my live streaming setup. I've been messing around with the lights, with the microphone and whatnot. And one of the things that has been eluding me is using OBS with Streamyard. The only reason I never used it, I haven't used it. Yeah, as long as it's not a full suit, you should be fine with that hobby. You know, yeah, it depends. You know, look, we've both seen it. We've both seen it. How it goes. I mean, it's like the way people would have binders and sketchbooks full of commissions. I would find, you know, that there are people who've spent more than the equivalent on commissions, you know, that they would have, like, one fursuit would have cost, but they have that in a sketchbook instead. You know, we know how that works. So yeah, so I've been trying to, so the thing that has been eluding me is using OBS with StreamYard. Now the first time now, I haven't used it I haven't used it. Usually I use OBS. Yes, we know. So I haven't used it, OBS with StreamYard, because it kept crashing. For some reason, the two programs are completely incompatible. However, I had gotten some advice from Mog Park, who, if you don't know, she was a designer for Game of Thrones. So if I'm going to take advice from anybody. So she had told me that what the issue was frame rate. And if I lowered the frame rate on OBS, I should be able to use it in StreamYard. So that's what I'm trying out right now. So I'm going to switch my camera. And so I have OBS set up with the layout that I want. And I lowered the frame rate, which I don't know if it's going to be noticeable or not, because I know sometimes it's noticeable on my end that the frame rate's low, but we'll see. That's the whole point of doing this test. And so in that way, I can actually run two cameras at the same time from the same computer, as opposed to what I was doing before, when I had my desk camera connected to my PC, and I had my main camera connected to my Mac, and not so much fun was had by all. So at least if OBS works, I'll be able to use both cameras on the same computer at the same time, which is what I'm hoping for. So I'm going to switch over right now, and then if it works, we'll continue. I'll continue with my commentary, with my little show and tell that I have here on it. So let me just switch that over. Drum roll, please. And let's see if this works. And okay. Are we good? Okay, so now I'm in, I have the OBS, my OBS setup now in StreamYard. And so far it seems to be okay. Nothing's crashing. At least on my end it looks okay. So tell me if so tell me good. Excellent. Okay. All right. So we got the okay from Mike Jimmy. We got the okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue with this setup and see what happens, because thank you. So yeah, so if anything starts to get all weird or jittery or something, just tell me in the chat, because that's kind of like what I'm looking for. I'm trying to head off any like freezes or whatnot, but it looks like we're okay, because before I couldn't even get this far. So yeah, and of course right now this is, so we have the desktop here. So just to, okay, all right, so that's looking good. I got my little tape here to keep me from going past this marker so that I have a visual cue to not get covered up by this screen. So, okay, so let's continue. So like I said, And of course, you know, if no one suggested it already, take a shot every time I say the word so. Um, okay, yeah, it's about, yeah, that's what I'm kind of seeing too. That there's like a really, really slight delay, but yeah, you know, it shouldn't be. Oh, no. I'm just gonna do a quick flip through just so everyone can see what the proof is like. But I'm not doing like a page by page. It's just to show off what the proof looks like. It's kind of yeah, I know I kind of did that with the Eagle Raven volume 1. I was about to say volume 4. I wish. Volume 1. So it's just to show off what the proof looks like. Well, this is technically, because I don't have to make any changes, this is the book you are going to get in the Tall Tales volumes 1 through 3 Kickstarter that's going on right now. So yeah, so as you can see, it's a very nice. I like the glossy I like the glossy cover, even though it makes it a little difficult to show on camera because of the reflections. But so this is going to be the actual book that everyone is going to get from that campaign. And, you know, if just to show everybody, you know, especially if you get all 3 volumes at once, which I do have a level for. If you missed out on previous campaigns, there is a level where you can pick up the volumes 1, 2, and 3 in one shot, so that you are up to date with all this, with the story. I don't run campaigns where it's like, oh, sorry, you missed out. Yeah. Yeah, lighting was a big deal too that I was messing around with. I mean, it's like, you know, it's like, who knew that? I if you had told me 10 years ago that I'd be fussing like this on live streams, I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't have believed you, type of thing, you know. But yeah, so it's like, so this is going to be, so this is what you're going to be getting in the 1, 2, and 3 levels, so you can catch up with everything. Like I said, I do not run any of my campaigns with oh, you missed out. It's like, no, I work too hard on these books. I work too hard on these stories for people to feel like they can't read the whole thing. No, you are going to read the whole thing whether you like it or not. So well, but then again, I do hope you like it. That's why you're buying it. So we were talking about verbal tics the other day, so I guess like so is my verbal tic. And so yeah, so here is how it looks on the inside. So you're going to get I really enjoy this whole line art of the cover piece on the inside, back, and inside front. And we're just gonna do a flip. You know, for everybody who's trying to avoid spoilers. And this book collects issues 11 through 15 of the series. It's a 20. Thieves' Quest is a 20 issue story arc. And actually, if you'd like to learn more about Tall Tales, on the Kickstarter, and even on my YouTube channel, but on the Kickstarter, which will be easier for you to find right now, there is a video. There is pretty much a video primer of the entire Tall Tales series, where you can, where I just explain, give a rundown of the entire series, of the entire Thieves' Quest, of every story arc that we've done so far. Thieves' Quest, the So I Thought one shot, the Peacekeepers, and the current Tears of the Mother storyline. So that's all in that video. It explains how everything works in together. So you can watch that video if you really, really want to get a detailed explainer as to what Tall Tales is. So the book is black and white. It's in full black and white. These are all the original pages that were printed back in the day. This starts the series from the beginning. This is the story arc that started everything in 1992. And yeah, if you've never heard of us before, if you're just seeing it for the first time and you're really curious about Tall Tales, this is the campaign to do it. This is the campaign to jump on. Like I said, you can pick up issues 1, 2, and 3, get caught up on the storyline until the volume 4 campaign comes out. And like I said, this is the proof fresh from the printer. And from what I can tell so far, it requires absolutely no changes. So this is literally the book you're going to get. So here we go. So, and that's volume 3. Link in the show notes below if you want to check that out. So another thing that this is kind of a separate thing, but I think this is especially it's like if you're making comics like I am, or you're curious about the process. This is a book that actually JD had recently bought, which is probably going to end up just living in my office from now on. And I think that I was so glad to see this book that I just have to talk about it, because I think this is something that if you're doing comics, you should own this book. I mean, straight up. It's like if I had to do an addendum on I think it was like the top art books that you should own. Again, I have a video on that on my YouTube channel. This would be its own video. The Essential Guide to Comic Book Lettering. So this, I don't know how long ago this came out. I'm assuming it was recent. I remember seeing ads for this a while ago. Oh yeah, full black and white. Yes, as opposed to that old-fashioned 2-color black and white. Yes, exactly. Because we're on. Because yeah, I'm on top of the trends here. So, yes, lettering is an art form all on itself. And especially when I started working on EGORaven, I really made it a point to not only learn how to do coloring correctly, digital coloring correctly for comics, but oh, hold on. Mr. Jake. Yes, we are talking about this book. Oh, and by the way, in case you don't know, Jake is the official chat bouncer. So, yeah, so if you guys have any links or anything, if you put it, I guess, in, I don't know, if you try to put links in the comments, he'll make sure that they'll be able to go through. So yes, he's the new, so welcome Jake Twister as chat moderator. So yes. So applause for everybody. Yes, so I don't know. Yeah, so I've been seeing this advertised a couple of months ago, and I'm thinking it oh, there we go. And yeah, so he's saying, so in the Twitter DMs, if you have anything, he'll put it in the chat so that they show up here. So thank you, Jake. Thank you for being my it's like I know I use you as a guinea pig a couple of times, but I'm sure you don't mind, right? You like being my guinea pig. Oh, except for that one. Nobody likes that sound. And the thing is, it's like when you're doing comics, it's like when you're doing comics, it's like it's very easy to forget that it's not just the artwork. That lettering is just important for your comic to succeed as a comic, as anything else. And I have been waiting for a book this detailed for a while, because I kind of got tired of searching for bits and pieces of information online. I do have a video on my YouTube channel about lettering for comics, or at least how I learned how to letter for comics and the resources that I used. But this book, from what I can tell right now, like just get this book. Watch my video and then get this book. It should be available on Amazon. I'm not sure where JD got this book, although he usually gets all his books from DCBS, but I'm pretty sure this should be available on Amazon. And the thing is, though, this book so far is, even though it's a little wordy, okay, yes, for a book about lettering, it's a little wordy, but the thing is, though, the amount of information in here, I think, is so incredibly valuable. If you're already, it's kind of like, if you're a beginner, you need this book. If you're kind of like me, when you're like kind of like intermediate, just really getting into it, kind of have an idea of what I'm supposed to be doing. Oh, thank you. Jake put a link to the book in the notes, in the chat, if anybody wants to pick it up. Because like I said, everybody should own this book. If you're doing comics, you should own this book. So it has enough information for beginners, but it also has plenty of information for someone like me to kind of like pick up from. So it's like, I'm not going to, so like a lot of things, I'm not going to bother with the really basic stuff about how to do lettering, but I am skipping to all the parts that I really was looking for, especially like a couple of days ago. Now the thing is though, this book is very Illustrator directed. I mean, it's pretty much, he does everything in Illustrator, so you should be able to transfer some of this information to other programs, because a lot of it is just more formatting. But the thing is, though, he really does give step-by-step instructions on how to do these things in Illustrator. And the thing especially that I was looking for the other day was how to do these tails here, the connectors, the word balloon connectors. I have some templates that wasn't really working for me, and this literally step-by-step instructions, so I have to try that. Also how to do special effect balloons, which was also another thing that I was looking up information for. And how to make all these different types of word balloons. I'm very excited about this book. I mean, it's like, it's really funny to think about being excited about lettering. But that's kind of where I am now in this. Oh, there we go. You know what? Yeah, we can do that. You run a tough bargain, Jake. And so this is like, I was literally looking for this the other day, and it tells you how to do different types of word balloons, how to make your own custom word balloons, I guess how to convert like hand-drawn media into vector graphics so that you can use them in your comics. I mean, look at this. It's like, this is exactly what I was looking for the other day. It's like I was trying to figure out how to make all these crazy ass balloons, and I was trying to find examples to maybe like scan in and try to fake or something. It's like, no, he has instructions right here on how to make these. So I'm very excited about this. So a lot of these are vector based, which means that they'll work in any vectorable programs. And yeah, it's like, I'm pretty sure, like I said, this is specifically, the instructions are specific to Illustrator, But what I've noticed with a lot of programs is that like Clip Studio Paint is not that much different. So you should be able to transfer some of this information. Yeah, you have to figure out the workarounds for it. But you should be able to still use this information no matter what program you're using. And this is like, and this like, look, and he also like the different caption boxes that he shows you again step by step on how to make, but also sound effects. This is also another thing that I was looking for, is how to make. There's some very specific sound effects that I want to use in the next couple of issues of Ego Raven, but I wasn't finding what I was looking for, but I have an idea in my head as to how I want it to look. And again, here he is explaining step by step on how to make these sound effects. Yeah, and then it's like it's just I was just floored as to how good this book, just by flipping through it. It was just like everything I wanted in a book about lettering. And it's very concise, it's very detailed, it's straight to the point. And yeah, and it's like, yeah, like I said, if you are yeah, it's like, look, even just basic balloons, and then it's like how much space. It's funny because this is always a debate me and JD have about we definitely have different styles of lettering, so we're always debating as to how much space should be around the text, because he likes to keep it like really, really tight, like the balloon, like the text is almost touching the balloon, and I like to make sure that everything breathes a bit. So yeah, so we're always debating that. Another thing is that he loves to use like those giant, like a giant block of text and a giant balloon, where I ended up learning how to break all that text up into different, into separate balloons, so that it just makes it easier to read. So it's like you're not looking at a full, like a block of text, like you're looking more at like broken up sentences or whatnot. It just I don't know, for me it just flows better. But he keeps insisting that it's like, oh, I read all these comics, I know what I'm looking at. It's like, okay, fine, whatever, we have this book now. So maybe this book will end the debate as to what we should be doing. It's like, oh, what does the book say? So yeah. So let's see. Here we go. He works in Clip Studio Paint. Most of it is usable in there too if you know the basic info on how to make word balloons. Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. That's what I like about this book. It has the very basics if you've never done it before, and it has all the other stuff that us more advanced, depending on where you're at, could really, really use. Let's see. Oh, this is my last trading card for my collection. I got my curriculum locked. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, this is but so I really wanted to show off this book because that's how impressed. I swear, at this moment, I think all you guys need is a Loomis book and this book, and you're good to go. This, How to Draw the Marvel Way, and you're good to go. If you want to go on this, if you decide you want to do comics for some reason. So yeah, so I just wanted to show off that, because I thought that a lot of people would enjoy that book. So another thing that I did on the last live stream, we were talking about my little list here. Yes, I did. We're moving on. So yeah, so we were talking about how I broke down all my projects that I have to do so it's like, and as you can see from last time, I was actually able to cross off a bunch of stuff. So slowly progress is happening. So this is my list on all the projects that I have to do, that I have to get done. And of course, as I get done, and also mind you, this is not counting stuff that I have to add to the list, right, Mike Jimmy? Because Mike Jimmy is kind of keeping me a little busy right now too. So I have to put I have a variant cover that I'm working for him for Life on Quora, which Jake did put a link in if you want to check that book out as well. It's in the chat. So I will be doing a variant cover for Mike Jimmy for Life on Quora. So that has to go on the list too, especially because I have to finish it this month. So this is my projects list, to-do list. Now, and I know I mentioned how I break it down, and then how I work, to try to keep myself on track on getting the work done. So yesterday, I did another part of making the schedule, of scheduling out my work. And in the end, since everything ends up on Kickstarter anyway, right? So the next logical step, not at all, sir. Neither am I, sir. And the next logical step to scheduling all these comics is scheduling the Kickstarters that they're going to be associated with. So again, this is another debate that me and JD have, where it's like he just likes to throw stuff on Kickstarter and just press launch. He doesn't plan anything in advance. He just sets up the campaign and runs with it. He doesn't think beyond the campaign that he's putting together. And then once he launches that, then that's when he moves on to the next campaign. Me, on the other hand, I like my campaigns to be a little bit more regimented. I actually like to have dates to announce. I find that it helps with promoting, with promotion, and to have actual dates for people to look forward to, and to actually, I guess, focus on. So, of course, I have to start setting up. So all this work here, I have to start putting on the schedule for my Kickstarter schedule for 2022. So this is how I plan out. So this is how I planned it out. So Eagle Raven issue 4 is already scheduled for March 14th. If you saw the ads in the beginning. And if you really didn't know, I already have a proof for that. So this book is literally ready to go for March 14th, 2022. So we have that on the schedule. That starts the year off with our Kickstarters. Now, just to clarify something, because I always get this question: how come I'm not on Indiegogo? Or how come I haven't done an Indiegogo? And the answer is actually very simple for me. My audience is on Kickstarter. It's like we started on Kickstarter, we built the audience on Kickstarter, so that's where my audience is. Indiegogo is a completely different animal. They're both crowdfund platforms, but Indiegogo is a completely different animal for me. It has a different audience that has different needs, and the thing is, though, is that with my schedule as tight as it is, I guess I kind of hate to say it this way, but I just don't have the time to break in a new audience that I'm not familiar with. So sometimes it's like, if I was, maybe if I was younger and I had more time, it would be something I would be able to juggle the two of them. But right now, it's like I really have to focus on what's working for me, so that I can really, I can really work on this schedule that I'm putting together. And and it's like, and honestly, it's like I really don't have the time to cultivate a new audience on a different platform that may or may not work for me, because JD uses Indiegogo, but it doesn't have the same return of investment as Kickstarter does. Well, you see, I can train, but the thing is, yeah, I can train to beat the duck at the marathon. And what he's saying is that he showed me an article about a duck that really did run the New York City Marathon, and it was a duck that had little custom sneakers and everything. So yes, so he's literally talking about a literal duck running a literal marathon, which that's also something I'm trying to fit into my schedule. So something's got to give. Something's got to give. And unfortunately, Indiegogo for me at this moment is the thing that I'm not focusing on. So this is why my entire schedule, this is all Kickstarter. And just how tight this schedule is, I really don't have time for another platform, so yeah, so like I said, so Ego Raven, March 14th, 2022. So that's going to be issue 4. Then, so it's going to be a 30-day campaign. I'm giving myself between 6 to 8 weeks to fulfill, because you want to give yourself that buffer, but you don't want to be too long. You don't want to be too short. You want to give yourself a buffer, so at least you'll have a bulk of your campaign materials, your rewards out before you start the next campaign. And mind you, starting the next campaign is not when the campaign starts. Just because, okay, so we have Tall Tales Volume 4. I have this scheduled for June 13th of next year. So that's when Volume 4 is coming out. So June 13th. As you can see, everything is still penciled. So I'm not completely committed. The only committed date that I have here is Ego Raven issue 4. So everything else after that is tentative, but it's going to be close. This is kind of as close of a final schedule as I'm getting. I still have to tweak a couple of things and think out a couple of things. So, yes, because that's exactly what the duck would do, I'm sure. Yes. So we have Tall Tales Volume 4 coming out tentatively. Like I said, every date after this is tentative. June 13th. Again, another 30-day campaign. Because what's funny is that for this campaign, I really have to do its own video on like just a generic how to run a Kickstarter or how to think about running a Kickstarter. Because with Volume 3, this is our shortest campaign. It was for 21 days instead of 30 days. And we thought it was a good way to, if we cut out the extra week, that we could avoid the infamous, the dreaded plateau period where it's like your sales just stagnate for 2 weeks until it begins to pick up near the end of the campaign. And so far what we've learned is that 21 days doesn't really save you that time. You're still going through a plateau period. It's just shorter, but it's still, hair pulling if you've ever, if you know this plateau period. Oi, Chia to the Bay. Hello. That's my aunt from Brazil, everybody. Say hi. So then the next campaign after that I have is Ego Raven Volume 1, which I have scheduled for September 12th. And again, it's another 30-day campaign. And then this might be the closest I have, the closest space that I have between campaigns, because I really, really wanted to get in a 4th book for 2022. And this one is going to be the Tall Tales one shot, which is the prequel to Thieves Quest. It's about Gabriel and how he ended up with Ravenwood's sword, because he was the one that delivers it to him. And this time we're doing this in full color. So this is going to be our first full color Tall Tales comic. So it's going to be a 40-page standalone. So I really, really wanted to fit that in for 2022, because we're currently having that flatted right now. So we're almost done with it. I just have to re-letter it, and thanks to the new book, it's like I have I have more information to do that. So that's going to be the schedule for 2022. And the reason why I'm kind of like it's still a little bit malleable, because I'm actually thinking on whether I can fit in another campaign in here, but I'm not seeing how. Because like I said, I want to have enough fulfillment time between campaigns. Because see, the thing is though, your campaign does not start on the day you launch. Your campaign starts 2 months before, usually. Optimally, your campaign actually starts 2 months before you launch, because we're talking about all your pre-promotion, you're talking about your pre-launch page, you're talking about like setting up for all your shows and interviews, because when you launch, that's not the day you want to start looking for shows to go on to promote your book. It's already too late. A lot of shows, they schedule out months in advance. So what you want to do is 2 months before you launch your Kickstarter, you want to get shows scheduled for that time. So like to use me as an example. So I have Eagle Raven so we're going to have March 14th to April 13th. That's going to be the campaign, like the campaign days. So that means in January, I have to start booking shows for that March period, that March-April period. And also all that promotion that happens in the first 2 months. So it's like I should have my launch page. Hopefully before the end of December, I should have my launch page for this campaign ready and up, which means I have to start sending out notices for that, getting people to sign up, and then it's like I gotta book the shows, and then it's like just like I said, all the promotion to push people, to get people onto your launch page, your pre-launch page, so that they'll get notified. So then when you launch, hopefully you'll have a big enough bump from having so many people on your pre-launch that the algorithm favors you and pushes you out more, because you had such a big push on that first day. So that's what you want to really think about when you're doing a Kickstarter. Your Kickstarter really starts 2 months before you launch. So that's why for me, it's important to have an actual dated schedule for this. And like I said, this is just for the Kickstarters. At the top of the page, this is telling me what I have to also complete this year in 2022 in order to make the schedule for 2023. And that's, I have to complete Eagle Raven issues 6 through 8, which adds up to 96 pages, which averages to 2 pages a week, complete pages a week. So this is also something that I have to fit in this schedule. So scheduling is not just about putting all your projects on a list and then crossing them out when you're done. You also have to know how much time you have to do this, so that you can get your projects done. Because like I said, I don't run a campaign unless my book is ready. This is how I do it. I know it looks a little daunting and a little far and requires to look a little far ahead, but for me, it's the only way I can do it, or else I'm not going to be able to get, yeah, um, yeah, 2 pages a week. Yeah, but that's how you have to kind of realize what you need to do so that you know what you need to do. Now, if you want to cry, this is, so like I said, this is what I have to do for the 2023 schedule. So yeah, so let's look at it like this. Ego Raven is 15 issues. So the question for me is, how long is it going to take for me to put out 15 issues on Kickstarter on this schedule? Well, 2023 is where it gets interesting, because what I realized, yeah, if you have 128 pages, it averages to 3 pages a week. So you got to squeeze that extra page in. Because 2023 is when I have to finish 128 pages to finish issues 9 through 12. Now, 2023 is where my schedule, like I said, gets a little interesting, because the only way I can put out all 15 issues in a reasonable amount of time is to double up campaigns, which means February 6th, 2023 is the campaign for Ego Raven issues 5 and 6 at the same time. Because if I don't do this, it's like you're not going to see the end of the series until friggin' 2030. And it's like, no, we're not doing that. So for the rest of the year, for the rest of the Ego Raven campaign after issue 4 and volume 1, it's going to be 2 issues at the same time. So it's 5 and 6, and then we have the Peacekeepers trade in May, and then we have 7 and 8, Ego Raven 7 and 8 in August, and then we have Tall Tales Tears of the Mother volume 1 in November. So I'm averaging 4 Kickstarters a year. Now, here's the thing that made me cry. Here's the thing that made me cry. Yeah, you see that number at the top, right? Ego Raven issue 15 at the rate doubling up, which means that if I double up, Ego Raven issue 15 will come out, that last issue will come out July 7th, 2025. I'm really, really having a hard time with that. I'm having a really hard time with those numbers. Ego Raven volume 4, the last volume, October 6th, 2025. So what this is telling me is that yeah, I know. I know. It's looking a little, yeah, but that's the reason why you have to do something like this. You have to schedule like this so you know what you actually have to do. Yeah, we need an intern. Yeah. Hey, look, it took me forever to break down and decide to get a flatter. So we'll see. If my campaigns improve in a certain way, maybe I can get somebody to color the whole thing as opposed to me coloring it. It's like, it says here, just match what I've done before, keep it consistent to what I did before and run with it, So that's something to think about. So it's like, depending on how in advance I can get these issues done, I either have to double up or I might need to triple up if I want to get the books done sooner. But we don't know that yet. I don't know that yet. Let's see how I'm able to get through 6 through 8 through 2022, and we'll see what happens then. You know, because in the end, I still have to do the work. You know, I still have to do the base comics. So that's what's going to determine how quickly I can get these campaigns out. Because, yeah, it's like, it's a little upsetting to see that. Oh, are you hinting at something, Jake? You know, I mean, I'm less afraid of delegation and giving away work, hence 2 writers and a colorist. Yeah, I think that for me, my next major step would be getting a colorist. And like I said, I would want somebody who could imitate the style. I mean, it's like, and my style, my coloring style is pretty simple. So, you know, I'll worry about it when I get to it, you know. But the thing is, though, but because I have this schedule, I now know what to kind of focus on and what I really, really need to do. So that's why this is important. You don't want to be the guy running an issue a year on crowdfunding. Don't be that guy. Don't. No, it's like, if you have a story to tell, you have to get it out. You really don't have the amount of time you think you do. you know. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like, that's, if anything, that's what that's what the scheduling really, really focuses my brain on. It's like, okay, this is what I absolutely need to do for this to happen. So if I'm able to improve it on the front end, maybe I can get more books out on the back end, you know. So speaking of taking forever to do a comic, so today's work is going to be, because it's like already, it's like we're an hour in. And today's work is going to be the continuing pages for the never-ending Tall Tales Tears of the Mother issue 6. To give a little, to give some context, this was a book I started working on. This was an issue I started working on at the beginning of, of March 2020, around February, March 2020, when everything was beginning to shut down. And I figured, it'll take me a couple of months to do or whatnot. And here I am still working on it. I don't, I mean, I hate to say it, but the reason why I'm still working on this comic is because, I have to admit, Eagle Raven kind of pushed it to the side. This Eagle Raven was an issue 1. It was full color. And in the end, I felt that was the priority book to work on at the time, when this book was kind of like in the middle of the series. We weren't really having that much luck with it on Kickstarter because it was the middle of the series. So I kind of put it to the side and started working on Eagle Raven instead. And then around the same time is when we started thinking, it's like, you know what, we really should. And then it's like, after Eagle Raven came out and we started, working, like doing more stuff online and doing more shows and stuff, we began to realize that our audience was different now. And that's when we decided that we should concentrate on putting out the Tall Tales from the beginning, to kind of catch the new audience up, so that when we finally do put out Tears of the Mother, it'll make sense. So like I said, so this book unfortunately got thrown to the side because of it. So I've been I only have like 8 pages left to go on it. Lettering takes me 2 days, so that's not an issue. But I got like 8 more pages to go. I'd really like to finish this before the end of the year, so I could finally put it aside as a finished product, as a finished thing. And hold on, my cat is trying to escape here. So, you know, and that's what happens too. And yeah, so it's like, you know, sometimes it's like you just got to switch projects around. You got to prioritize projects. Technically, the Thieves Quest volumes are more important than this, but because I have so few pages of this left to go, I just want to finish, just finally put this issue to bed. So this is pages, so what I have here is pages 23 and 24. As you can see, it's mostly inked. I just have to put in kind of like the last layers of detail on it, and then it's like I can scan them in and put them aside. And that's pretty much what we're going to be doing right now. So here's 23, and it's like, you know, and we'll see what we can do in an hour. So yeah. So let me get the little background. Oh, and by the way too, the other thing that I probably would try to outsource out, that I would like to be able to outsource out, is doing someone to do digital sculpting for figures, so I can get like figures made, and I would like to be able to get an animator to do some like you know how European comics have kind of like, you know, like almost like commercials for their comics, you know, so it's like something like that. But like I said, that's for later though. I mean, honestly, the one thing I would like to look for probably for next year is a digital sculptor to do a figure. So like if you've seen the Bishonen DC figures, I would absolutely love to do one of those for EGORAVEN. I would love to, but I know that would be like really, really pricey. like everyone, like, yeah, it's like everyone would have to come together for these campaigns for me to get that done. But the thing is, though, the trick is finding the right sculptor who something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, you know, yeah, something like that. You know, it's like, cuz it's like I was looking into doing like animatics. You know, like those really limited, you know, like storyboard style things. But again, it's like I don't know if I have the time for that. Yeah, no. That's, you see, and that's the thing too, because it's like, especially if it's really, really nice enough, I'm sure people would want it just to want it, because it's kind of like, you know, you see those Japanese, those figures from Japan, and I don't know the cartoon, I don't know anything about them, but the figures are just so hype that it's like, you know, I could literally collect these, you know, for no reason whatsoever other than that it's like these are just gorgeous looking figures. And yeah, so it's just finding a sculptor who could kind of like match that quality. Yeah, it's just that, again, it's like, it's just I haven't been, it's not a focus right now, but it is something on the back of my mind. Oh. Yeah. So, oh, okay. So the other thing I'm going to try now is seeing if my music works. Or whether it's going to be too much for OBS to handle. So, let's try out the music. So let's see. Okay. All right, so it's really low in the background. Oh, you see, I'm already getting like a mad delay, so hold on. Okay, no, that's not gonna work. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I put the music on, and then I started getting a really bad delay on my end on OBS, like that. So, so yeah, so let's put a pin in that, and we'll try to figure that out for another. You know, that's probably just going to need something. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I knew it that's I guess it's like that's just me pushing my luck with the OBS setup, because so far it's okay, but it's also I'm not asking it to do much. Let me try it one more time, but I'm pretty sure it kind of freaked out on me. Hold on. Let's see. Is it? Yeah, you see? Yeah, I'm beginning to get a lag now. Wait, yeah, I'm beginning to get a lag. So yeah, the music can't be on. I mean, which is kind of dumb. You see, and the second I turn it off, the music off, then everything's okay again. So all right, so that experiment is done. No music. No music unless I switch out of OBS. So but it was worth a shot, right? Uh-huh. Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, and all I did was just turn the music on. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if like I said, it's like well, it's like you said. There's a 30-second lag just with OBS as I have it set up right now. Um, so I don't want to lower the frame rate on the cameras any further. Right now it's at 20 FPS, frames per second. Yeah, FPS. And I really don't want to lower that any further, because then it's like I know it starts to get super choppy. Um here we go. Yeah, that look. It's Joe. Oh, so what would that mean? What would that mean? Huh?
I don't know who it is, but it probably is for Hogwarts guys. I asked my friend Joe, I asked my friend Jake. They said it was for Hogwarts guys.
You know, I am so tickled pink that I have an excuse to play that clip. Welcome, Joe. Welcome to the chat. Just for you guys. Just for you guys, I swear. Yeah, I mean, what were the chances? So I'm not letting go of that. So yeah, yeah, and also the other thing too is another thing that I also want to fit in to my schedule, so that everybody listening in the chat, if you're interested, you can kind of put a pin in it. I For next year, I'm also going to be looking to doing more covers and variant covers commissions for people. So, because like I said, I'm doing a variant cover for Mike Jimmy. I already have a variant cover for Jody McPhee for Amazonia, which I'm looking forward to that being printed. I have a couple of people. Oh, if you didn't know, there is a comic called The Adventures of Rabbit Man, by Mike Sear, on was it Webtoons? On Webtoons. I did a cover for him, Rabbit Man and Krampus, for his Christmas edition. So so yeah, so it's like I have a couple of other people who've expressed interest in getting variant covers from me. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing more of those for next year. So yeah, well, we'll see about that. We'll see about that. Um yeah, no, I'll check it out. I'm definitely going to be starting your cover is definitely going to be done this month. I already have a couple of ideas that I think would look nice. So, why wouldn't it, right? And yeah, once I get that particular sketch done, I'll send it to you, and then we can talk more about that. But yeah, I'm actually going to be opening up my commission, my commission list for for 2023, because yeah, it's like, because variant covers are fun, and working with other people's characters are really fun, and getting like all these different images out, it's fun. It's just really fun. So um yeah, so I guess I might as well just say it now. If you're interested in getting a variant cover from me, and it's like you just want like a regular variant cover, or you want something a little bit more, you know, one of those, I don't shy away from that. So you can just DM me on Facebook, and we can talk more about that. So so there you go. So if you want variant covers by me, contact me on Facebook and we'll talk. So that's yes, very much so. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like it's just I am very versatile. So, yeah, so depending on what you want, I could probably do it for your comics. So, yeah, so this is kind of like the tedious part of inking, where it's all the final little details that bring everything together. Oh, is it? Look at Jake earning his keep. Jake is just grabbing all my links and putting them in the chat, and all of everybody else's links and putting them in the chat. So, thank you so much. That's why I gave you the job. You know what? I probably will have to pay you in that lettering book. Yeah. Oh, yeah, no. I used to do that. I used to do stippling, and it's like no. There comes a point where again, it's like you just have to kind of prioritize what kind of detailing you're going to do. because, because back when I started doing these books in 92, color wasn't an option for us. It was not feasible. You already had to print a minimum of 3,000 copies just to get black and white. So to do color, you had to be selling, a tremendous amount of books just to even consider color. So it was completely out of the question. So what happened was that I ended up developing an inking style to make up for the fact that there was no color available, pretty much. Well, we only had the two. We were so poor, we only had two colors. So, so it's like, you see the way the pages look now. So, this is what I was originally doing. I mean, I was putting crap everywhere because I had to. It's like, if I wanted, I didn't have color. So I didn't have color. So it's like, I just like made different textures for everything and put like all sorts of doohickeys and whatnot. What's funny is that I used to take a class with Will Eisner, and he hated the way I inked. But it was more because that was the way a lot of people were inking back then, because everyone was being influenced by Todd McFarlane, because he was doing Spider-Man and whatnot, so everybody was picking up his inking style, which is like those lines all over the place. And he kept yelling at me. It's like, stop with the doohickey lines. It's like they don't mean anything. And it was the trend back in the day. So it's like, oh, what does this guy know? It's like, yeah, exactly. And it's like, I just kept that style. And when I started doing Tears of the Mother, I found myself really, really reining back, because it got to a point where it's like, I don't have the time anymore to do that type of inking on my books. So, so this is kind of the style that I'm working with, where it's like, it's the complete opposite, where before, this was my thinnest pen was my main pen. Now it's my thickest. Because it's like, I want to keep it as, and then it's like this, I kind of use, RJ's in the, oh, right. Yeah. It's like, hey, RJ, you're not a man. Right. Exactly. Yeah. It was, like I said, it was less the whole, like, anime, manga's a fad type of thing, and as more as the lines don't mean anything. Which in the end, it was true. It's like, even if you looked at Todd McFarlane's stuff, like, a lot of the lines didn't mean anything. They were just there kind of like to texturize, but not really do anything. It was, so he hated that style of inking. So now it's like, I'm kind of like, it's like, okay, you were right all along. So, which, yes, I know it's like, I'm saying that Will Eisner was right all along. That's the joke, kids. Right? It's like, yeah, so now it's like, it's all about like trying to keep my lines as minimal as possible. Especially now, it's now the complete opposite. Now it's like, doing a color book is a no-brainer. What's really funny is that It was just really funny. Like back then, if you could have done a color book, it was a big deal. And people had found a way to be able to do that back in the day. You really had to have an in though. Sam from Catch the Craze, he tells a story about how they had an in at a printer to get their books done in color back in the early 90s. The catch is they had to staple it themselves. So, they're doing, really cottage industry stuff to be able to like be really forward with their comics for being in color. So it's like they were able to stand out at a show because they were the only independent with color comics. But now it's like when I decided to do EGORAVEN, like there was no question it was going to be in color. Like I didn't even think about it. Like that's just how, like, oh, color, yeah, okay, we got a printer who can do that. Like it really wasn't a question about can we do it in color. It's like, yeah, of course it's going to be in color. And that was the funniest thing because at one point it would have been like fanfare, and instead we put out when we did our first, I think it was one of the Oswald books that was our first color comic, and it was just like, oh, here it is. It's like, oh, here's the book, here's the Kickstarter, whatever. It really wasn't that big of a deal. It was nice, but it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't a big deal, and that was the funny thing about it. Like how the technology had allowed us to do that. And it's like in doing a color comic is no big deal. It's like so as a result of that, I found myself changing my inking style to accommodate that. Because again, it's like, all the doohickey lines and the cross hatching and whatnot. It's good if you keep it in black and white, but once you start adding color to it, you realize how it's too much, and it actually gets in the way of coloring. In fact, for I think like the first 2.5 issues, of EGORAVEN, I was erasing a lot of cross hatching. I was just going in and taking as much of it as I could out. Because it got in the way, and it kind of like, the lines were muddying up my colors, and it's like, look, I didn't learn, I'm not learning digital coloring for it to be all muddied up. So, and the thing is too, is that the cross hatching was serving a purpose, like it was doing effects that I could have only have done at the time in black and white. But now that I had color, I was able to do those same effects in color, so the cross hatching became irrelevant. So out it went. So at least, we have also the whole digital ability to alter artwork that easily. It was tedious work, but I still was able to just take all that cross hatching out. I mean, even what I'm doing now, it's like the little chainmail and whatnot. I know for a fact I could just do like a square or something, fill in chainmail, and then make a pattern brush out of it, so that I could put this in Photoshop. Oh, hey Meredith, I didn't see you there. You snuck in. There you go. Hey Meredith. Oh, hello there, Lucky Neko. Hello. But that's kind of the next step for me is learning how to digitally ink. I was playing around with brushes, and I think I kind of figured out why I was having such a hard time with inking digitally. So the piece that I did for Rabbit Man, which again is on Webtoons. Now the thing is, though, there are 2 comics on Webtoons that are named Rabbit Man. What you're looking for is the comic with a little kid in a pink rabbit suit. Okay, the other one is kind of like a manga thing. You want to look for the pink rabbit suit. That's the one. And also, yeah, so that's the one you want to yeah, it's like the only way I could describe it is if Charlie Brown was crossed with Mad Max and Berserk. So yeah. Yeah, so it's like, if that sounds like something up your alley, head on over to Webtoons and check out The Adventures of Rabbit Man. But the piece that I did for him, which was the Rabbit Man and Krampus image, it's also on my Facebook page. That was my first completely digital piece. And that's where I figured out what the problem I was having, like what the hurdle was. And the only thing that I can kind of figure out, I haven't really experimented with this yet on another piece, is that the secret for me being able to ink digitally is I can't zoom in. Like, I have to work at about 100% as possible, as if I was working on an actual page at literally at the same size. Maybe there's certain details that I would have to zoom in, but if I wanted to get the inking that I wanted, I have to work actual size. So that my lines are exactly the way they're supposed to look. But like I said, I haven't tried that yet, but that's kind of what I was getting when I was doing when I was doing that piece. Because, and then what's funny is that I had read another artist recently just mention something similar to that, where they learned, except they were a digital painter, and they learned that the biggest hindrance to their technique was zooming in too much. So no. Actually, it's like I gotta bell it, I gotta bell it. So yeah, which if you read Berserk, you know what that is. It's pretty much, it's actually, that's kind of it's quirky. It's definitely up my alley. It's quirky and silly, but it has like these it really does reference. Oh, and it references Hellraiser too. So it's definitely, I enjoyed myself reading it. Another comic that I'm currently reading, which is saying a lot because it's like, it's very hard for me to keep my attention on things lately. So the fact that this comic is really catching my attention is kind of means a lot. Is a comic that I'm reading, I think, which is also available on Webtoons. It's called Killing Stalking. And it's a Korean horror serial killer drama thing. And the thing's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. It's like, because what's funny is like my sister is really into Korean dramas, and she's talking about how, light and airy and, so full of, like how enjoyable those, Korean dramas are. And this is like the complete opposite. Killing Stalking is a Korean, it's a Korean comic. What are they called? A manhwa. It's on Webtoons. And it is dark as hell. I mean, oh yeah. I'm still waiting to get volume 2. I'm making JD buy those for me one at a time. So yeah. So I was just able to get through volume 1. So it's like, yeah, I want volume 2. So I'm waiting for that. Maybe next. Good night, Jimmy. Good night. I guess the cappuccino is wearing off. Right. So there we go. It's like so good night. See you tomorrow. So yeah, manhwa. Yeah. But yeah, it's like this is some really, really dark, like this is not a comic I would recommend casually. What happened was that I was seeing like some fan art pop up on Twitter once in a while, and it's like, okay, what is this? And then it just got to a point where it's like, okay, what is this? It's pretty much what happened with me in The Witcher. It's like, I would just see people post up fan art and memes and stuff. And I go, what is this? And it gets, and most of the time I'm very, very suspicious of things that are a little too popular on social media, because most of the time it's garbage. It's like, it's kind of like that Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Community and stupid shit like that. And it's like, I tried it, the dumbest crap. It's like, look, I can with all confidence say that I have never watched an episode of Seinfeld, and I have never watched an episode of Friends. And I don't understand the obsession people have with these series, but that's none of my business. But whatever. It's like, I'm like, I don't understand it. There's nothing about these things that, it's kind of like people who love Animal House. And, and it's like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. So I'm very, so it's like, yeah, I'm very suspicious of anything that's a little too popular online. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like, yeah, it's like, it's not, yeah, it's when something's a little too popular. Like, it's the reason why I absolutely abhor Harry Potter without I have no interest in it. Like, I tried reading the first book because everybody was reading the first book, and I thought it was like the dumbest shit. It's like, this is a book for babies. It's like, this is literally a children's book. Why is everybody reading a children's book? And what's funny is that Henry Rollins has this skit. He's a story. It's a story that he talks about how he refuses to date women who reads Harry Potter. He said children's books, but in the story he mentions a woman saying that her favorite book is Harry Potter, and he kicks her out of the car. It's like, yeah, Porky's is another one. Like, yeah, those types, like American Pie and shit like that. People who love Family Guy and shit. It's like, yeah, I think it's the lowest common denominator stuff. So yeah, so I just can't get into that. So where was I? Oh yeah, so Killing Stalking. So I started seeing this really, really bizarre fan art. And it just like it, but the thing is though, it was just like, what the heck? It's like really, really violent, dark artwork. Like, there was like no way to put a positive spin on the fan art. And So I finally decided to look it up. And I started reading it, and yeah, that wow. I mean, I'm still kind of floored by how dark that series is. Um it's it's about a guy who ends up he's specifically bipolar, um from an incredibly abusive childhood. Like, this guy is broken beyond repair, and he ends up in an abusive relationship with a serial killer. And yeah, and it's like, and then it's like, also what's driving me nuts is just like how inept the cops are in the story. It's infuriating. But the thing is, though, if you um if you listen to enough true crime podcasts, that's pretty much the main theme of a lot of these things. Where it's like, there's this whole mythology about serial killers being like these genius masterminds, and it turns out they're not. It turns out that they're just like these mediocre assholes who only get away with their shit because cops never want to do their jobs. I mean, we're talking about like one of Jeffrey Dahmer's, I mean, the stalking killing, like, it literally reminded me of a story of how one of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims actually escaped and was returned to Jeffrey by the cop he was trying to get help from, because Jeffrey had convinced the cop, oh, this is just my lover and blah blah blah, and we're just having a spat and this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, and the guy was like, oh yeah, okay, here you go, here's your underage boy. It's like, this is normal. And right, yeah. And it's like, that's it's well, they were talking about cops in real life. It's like, yeah, on the true crime podcast, and the cop that actually did, this was one of Jeffrey's victims. It's like, eventually they found his body, I think, stuffed in a fridge somewhere, or something. And the cop who did that, he got to retire with full pension. He's the whole thing. And it's like, yeah, exactly. And I think that was Bundy, though. He was the one who was stuffing bodies under his floorboards. And what was funny was that he would invite people over to his house, but because he was such a respected member of the community, nobody would complain about the smell in his house. I mean, it's like, really, these are not geniuses. So, Killing Stalking is following that exact formula. And it was Gacy? Was it John Wayne Gacy? Or yeah, it's like, who was the clown? Yeah, then it was Gacy. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was Gacy. Yeah, it's like, yeah, Bundy was the one who tried to convince everybody that he's so hot and and sexy, and that women loved him, when he was actually smashing 12-year-olds in the back of the head with a hammer. So, yeah, sure. It's like, yeah. So yeah, so Killing Stalking is following this exact formula, and it is infuriating to read, and I can't stop. It's like, luckily it's only 60 something episodes. It's chapters. It seems like it's a finished book. It's a finished series. So yeah, so I actually have an ending to work towards. But holy crap, I mean, it is some really, really dark shit, that thing. It's like, I mean, mood wise, I mean, compared to a lot of stuff, compared to what I've read, it's kind of like the same mood as American Psycho and Human Centipede. It's that really, really nihilistic, but it's like leaning towards Human Centipede in terms of like really being nihilistic, and you know, it's just miserable all around. At least American Psycho had some humor in it. But yeah, but the thing is though, yeah, it's like this would be the type of thing like Bret Easton Ellis would have written. You know, like that's just how really dark the story is. So yeah, so if you want to read it, I would say read it unless you're really really into that type of stuff. You know, read it at your own risk because it's kind of graphic. And like I said, it's dark as hell. I was really surprised by it. But yeah, but I can't stop reading it. So yeah, so that's what it takes to get my attention sometimes. You know? You know, so yeah, oh, there's a manga about murder YouTube, like Red Rooms and things like that. But yeah, you see, and that's the funny thing too, because like the stuff is shocking, but it's so in context to the story, it doesn't feel like it's there for shock value, if that makes any sense. I mean, the person who draws it and writes it, they have like a really good sense of pacing. I think optimally you're supposed to read it on your phone. I'm reading it on the computer because, you know, it's like I need things larger so I can actually read it. But yeah, so the recommendations for today is buy that lettering book and read Killing Stalking. Oh, and go to the Tall Tales Kickstarter while you're at it. Yeah, so I'm slowly getting through I mean, what's funny is that even though there's the least amount of these little details in terms of inking, they take up the most time. They seem to take up the most time. So, yeah, so in the end, it's like when I figure out how to ink digitally, then I can make pattern brushes, so all I have to do is just fill it in as opposed to drawing each individual link. Yeah, but you know, I kind of wonder. It's like, do you think that cop actually like thinks about what he did? You know, that he remembers that moment. You know, because it can't possibly be something that it was so not unusual that he doesn't that it just became a lost memory. You know, that it's like, do you think that cop, you know, he's you know, sitting on his porch somewhere and he goes, you know, you remember the time it's like we actually came across Jeffrey Dahmer and I gave him back and I returned one of his victims to him? You know, do you think he thinks about that? You know? And there's let's see, there we go. So we got the I got my my 10-minute warning. Okay. You know, but we'll just continue here. yeah, you know what? Yeah, I probably have a feeling he doesn't think about it at all, to tell you the truth. You know, I would be surprised. I would be surprised if that was even, you know, I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's, yeah. Right, yeah, that was like, yeah, it's like, yeah, remember that time? Yeah, and they would laugh about it. I mean, yeah, it's like, really, you listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, and it really, it's like, it's enough to make you lose faith in the system. But then again, it's like, um, you know, as someone who's dealt with police for a chronic issue, yeah, no, it's like that was enough to traumatize me. You know, well, I probably shouldn't be saying that out loud on Twitter, on YouTube, should I? You know, I probably shouldn't be saying that, but you know, let's just say it's not Law and Order. It's not the experience that Law and Order tries to portray. Let's just put it that way. You know. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, so especially with Eagle Raven, it's like I've really like you see how this panel looks here, like on Eagle Raven, that's how the inking would have stayed. It would have been like just really like I'm only using, you know, like these two pens and that's it. I very rarely pull this one out. And you know, I remember Bob Larkin had described my work as looking like stained glass, like a stained glass window. And it's like, and then it's like after I started changing up my style a bit, my inking style a bit, it's like, oh, now it looks like medieval woodcuts. So it's like, is that an improvement? I don't know. I mean, I do like the style that I'm using, that I'm developing for Eagle Raven. I'm just trying not to transfer it too much to Tall Tales because that's not how I was inking on those. So it's like, yeah, it's trying to keep two slightly different styles of inking compartmentalized for, you know, so it's like I'm not suddenly changing up one project. So yeah. Oh yeah, but that's, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like you know, you see enough of yeah. I think that if you have like, you know, it's kind of like well, it's like you said, it's Mortician's humor. It's kind of like when you know, you watch those shows with forensic you know, when they're doing autopsies and stuff, and it's like, yeah, and it's like they see this all the time, you know, and it's like, you know, they're eating, you know, you know, and the body's right there, like it's like, look, it's like I see this shit every day. It's like, it's not really that big of a deal. You know, it's like, you know. You know, it's kind of like doctors, I think, you know, have a similar thing going on too. It's like there was a comedian, I forgot her name, but she had a joke about how the worst person for a woman to be married to is a gynecologist. You know, because it's like, oh, honey, not tonight. I've spent all day looking at that. Something stupid like that. Yeah. So yeah, that would be the joke we're gonna end the show on, isn't it? Oh, for goodness sake. So yeah, so we just got we got 5 more minutes. So let's see how much I can get. Let's see. Oh, field comedy. Yeah, that's a good term. That's a good term. Yeah, that's what it feels like sometimes. It's like, you got doohickeys in my clean lines. You got clean lines in my doohickeys. Yeah, that's what it feels like sometimes. So at least so at least it's like, I want to finish this story arc, which is 2 more issues after this, because Tears of the Mother is 8 issues. So at least I can then, when I do the next story arc, all my lines can finally match with each other. I can do the other story arc with the cleaner, with the more cleaner style that I have for Eagle Raven, so that everything can just match and I don't have to worry about getting my doohickeys in the wrong place. Yeah, because like I was just inking something for Eagle Raven this morning, and it's like, and I had to stop myself, like, oh wait, no, the doohickeys don't go here. No doohickeys. Yeah. Not as much though. Not as much. I mean, it's like, I'm not going for, like Sin City or a Hellboy kind of style. It's just more like, it's just a cleaner line that works better with coloring. That's really what it is. Do you think accessory lines? I actually like that. That's exactly, that's the term. That's a nice term. I like that. That's exactly what we're talking about. Although doohickeys is funnier to say. But yeah, accessory lines. If you want a specific comic to only be in black and white, maybe. I think by this point though, if I were to do a comic like that, I would go more for like the manga style gray tones. I would experiment more with that. If for some reason I had to do a comic just strictly in black and white. So yeah, that's what I kind of, if for some reason I had to do that, I would do, to tell you the truth, that's kind of the reason why on a certain level, I kind of kick myself for not really working with Clip Studio Paint, because they have all like the manga tones and manga special effects already built in. But it has more to do with, again, prioritizing time. I already know Photoshop, so I'm really not in the mood to work on a learning curve, on another learning curve, to maybe, to work on a style that maybe I would use or not use. That would be, that would be where I would go, because the accessory lines, I like that term, thank you. The accessory lines, they take up time. They take time. And it's time I don't have anymore. It's like we spoke about my schedule, my tentative schedule at the beginning of the show, and it's like, I don't have time for that anymore. So I would just be using, probably experimenting with tones and those types of things, like digital patterns and things like that. Okay, so hold on. Let's at least finish this panel. Get all the little accessories in here. Okay. All right, let me just fill this in. Okay. All right. So at least we have 2 panels completely finished. But it's not going to take me that long to finish the rest of the pages. So then I can scan them in and drop them into my InDesign file, and finally, like slowly put the book together. So let's see. Okay, so all right, so let's see what we let's see. Okay, comics. Yeah, it's like Clip Studio Paint. They're learning some stuff. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just don't have the focus for it. Yeah, it was Russ. Yeah, it was Russ that introduced me to that phrase too, the economy of line. Yeah, another artist that I was looking at is Oscar Martin from Solo. The only thing though is that I can't open the book because it has some, it's a European comic. What am I doing? It's a European comic, so they have different and this is a book that he did. I saw him do a sketchbook on his Instagram page where it's the comic, but okay, I have to double check the pages. It's the comic but without the coloring, and his pencils are incredible, and it really showed. And it's like, if you really wanted a definition of economy of line, it was his pencils. It's Oscar Martin. He's on Instagram. He's also on Facebook, but yeah, it's like the way, especially when he does, yeah, it's like if you were to really look at the panels, there's really not a lot of detail in these. It's like the color is kind of like is adding more to it in whatever textures, digital textures, but it's like, yeah, economy of line, and that's kind of what I'm trying to yeah, so it's Solo. This is the French version, so that's kind of what I'm trying to really learn, is that economy of line, that I don't need all the accessories to spruce up a page. Yeah, it's and that's, yeah, that space, yeah, negative space, yeah, it's like he knows how to use it. He knows how to use negative space to look like it's filling up a space. I mean, it's weird. It really is. I mean, it's really a master stroke. But yeah, that's yeah, that's the goal, for my inking, as I go along, is being more economic with my lines, and bolder with my usage of blacks and whites. Yeah, so I'm not spending all day, just doing a panel, because I'm putting in all the accessories. But so there we go. So okay, so I think we're kind of like at the end here. Let me I already got my let's let's see. Which one is it? Which one is it? Is it this one? No, that's my desk camera. And this one. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, it's like I got the notice from my tablet here that it's like we're pretty much done. So, because speaking of time, you know, it's like all good things must come to an end. So, okay, let me just get that going. Hold on. My little teleprompter here. So it's like I remember what to say. You know, because that's the one thing I haven't gotten to yet, being able to just memorize everything all at once and just being able to just say what I want to say without being distracted, because it's like, you know, I'm sure you've all figured out I'm very easily, you know, I can very easily go on tangents and forget what I'm talking about. So yeah, so there we go. So we're at the end of another live stream that went by really, really fast. Yeah, and it's like, oh, good night. It's like, good night. Everybody, going to bed now. You know, oh, hello. Welcome. You're just hitting the end here. Furry comics and fanzines start off with black and white pages. Yeah, exactly. We started off with black and white pages, exactly. So I hope at least you learned the horrors of scheduling a little too far in advance. You know how on job interviews they ask you where you see yourself in 5 years, and it turns out that's not a fun exercise. That is really not a fun exercise. So it's something that really, it's like, oh, it's making me rethink things, but you know, we'll see. So here we go. So let's see. Thank you so much to everybody in the chat making it happen again. Let's all give an applause. Here we go. Hold on. Let's all thank Jake for putting all the links in the chat and being a wonderful bouncer. Didn't have to ban anybody once. You know, it's like, congratulations. You know, first day on the job and didn't have to ban anybody. So he put in all the links in the chat and all that. So here you go. So thank you, Jake, for being a wonderful moderator. I really appreciate the help. It was very nice to not have to worry about, you know, the whole thing about, okay, how do I get links in the chat? So now we all know how to get links in the chat, and you all have to go through Jake to do it. So there you go. So in the meantime, I'm currently putting together my next video, edited video. I'm putting together the 1,000 subscriber giveaway video. So hopefully that will be out by Friday, maybe either this Friday or next Friday. I'm still trying to decide on a schedule for, you know, to either alternate between live streams or videos, or just put up videos when I have them done. I haven't decided yet, because again, it's another thing on the list, but at least I'm getting the video done. So yeah. So in the meantime, you can check out my social media here, and if you are watching this on Facebook and Twitter, this is my YouTube page where you can see a replay of this live stream, and you can, you know, subscribe and watch all my videos. But subscribe, you know, it's like, it's nice. Just press the button. It doesn't cost you anything. You know, it's like, just subscribe to my channel and enjoy the videos. If you're going to enjoy the videos anyway, you might as well subscribe while you're at it, you know. Or you can just head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites on top of the ones that you see here. But if, you know, you're really interested in seeing like works in progress and you know, whatever, you can, I mostly hang out on Facebook. If you like to see sketches and, like I said, in work in progress sketch stuff and, you know, just general updates. I seem to be most active on Facebook. And like I said, you can check me out on YouTube here, YouTube, for semi-weekly videos and art live streams. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out that schedule. So, you can also read the first 5 issues of Ego Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, in its original black and white format. I'm kind of considering taking that down soon and replacing it with the color version to slowly upload on the website. So, but I'm thinking of waiting until issue 5 gets released on Kickstarter, because then it's like, okay, you know, if you don't have issue 5 by now, you know, so, but in the meantime, until I make that decision, you can read the first 5 issues in the original black and white format. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a Lord of the Rings type adventure rather than a medieval soap opera, you can head on over to Tall Tales Online, TAILS, and read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free. And like I said, there's the link in the description box below for the Kickstarter if you want to pick those comics up in a physical trade paperback format, which looks lovely on a shelf. So you can do that too. And also, while you're there, on either of those websites, you can sign up for my monthly newsletter. Well, not only will you get free PDFs of the first 3 issues of Tall Tales for joining, but you'll also get regular updates about my current and upcoming crowdfunding campaigns. As you can see on the schedule, there's a lot coming up. And if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching me on YouTube, you get the special notice. If you want to learn more about art, illustration, and especially making comics, don't forget to do what you're supposed to do. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Push the button, press that button, click the button, smash the button. Everything you can do with the button, just do it. Subscribe to the channel. Make the algorithm gods happy. The more you poke around, making comments, clicking the like button, clicking subscribe, clicking notifications, the more the algorithm will spread word about my channel, and more people will be able to read my comics and enjoy the work that I work so hard to bring to you. So help me out there. You know, so thanks again for everybody in the chat making it happen. It's like the chat was really hopping today. So thank you very much for that. I'm happy you all found me entertaining enough to hang around for 2 hours when you could be doing something else. Or maybe you didn't want to be doing something else and I was just the perfect distraction. Either way, it works out for both of us. So until then, I will see everybody on the next live stream, on the next video, on the next everything. So I'll see you then. Thank you again. I can't thank you enough. I could spend all night saying thank you to everybody, but you know what I mean. So, bye everyone. I'll see you later.
You really want to know my process?
Absolutely.
Usually starts with a holla and ends with a creamsicle.
And then if there's time in between, Thundercats. Ho!